Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? At the time that I'm recording this, theoretically, Phil should be at the at his 100th vest streak that should have been achieved. If not, it's about to in like another day or so. By the time you guys are hearing this, that would have already happened, or maybe it hasn't. Whatever. I'm sure it's going to happen. So on and so forth. The real question, I think, ladies and gentlemen, thinking in the long term, is what is he going to do after that? But semantics. But he's supposed to be on his way there. And with that being said, this is supposed to be some type of celebration. He obviously has asked somebody to do something for him, and then he's planning on doing a couple of things himself. We're actually going to find out a little bit about that today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two videos that's going to make up our broadcast, both brought to us by Burnell, Dsp. First video, offering a simple devour video in exchange for 100 vest streak, and a legend was born in 2016. This is from May 13th of 2020, the second and last video to round out our broadcast. Also brought to us by Burnell, obviously. Dsp Daymare 1988 donation. Dmca takedowns, Pig Roach and Detractors United? What? And subs are way down. This is from May 14th of 2020, yet again our current year of gout. Now, for the Devour video, right? I think he said he wanted to try something from like Papa John's or something along those lines, and I think he was thinking about getting like a Frappuccino or something like that from Starbucks. Okay, and then I think he was going to do all that live. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to tell you, or maybe he's going to try to tell you, I should say, that he's never done a live DSP Tries It before. If any of you guys have been around for any period of time, you know that's a lie. And he actually has done one before. I think it was for a cereal, and I think it was during the Christmas, it was part of like the Christmas marathon, and that was, which would have been 2018, because remember, that whole debacle failed miserably, and he took like a bunch of days off afterwards because he wasn't man enough to face his own failure. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. R.I.P. to the realest guy on the internet. So that was that. As it pertains to these DMCA takedowns, well, first Daymare 1988. I guess that was potentially supposed to be a Resident Evil. Yeah. But it's one less game for him to pay for, and that's one less thing that he has to claim on his taxes, I suppose. So it is what it is, because, you know, Phil's all about cheating on his taxes. I mean, then again, how do you cheat on your taxes when you don't pay them? Semantics. Anyway, DMCA takedown, the Pig Roach and Detractors United. What? Okay, so apparently somebody was making their rounds on Twitter, going to war for DSP. Apparently, this guy was tired of the detractors basically taking up all of the real estate, not only in Phil's head, but also on these Goutopian streets. So apparently he wanted to go ahead and lead a militia, an army of one, if you will, to take all of that back. And he was going to do it in the name of DSP, Dark Side Phil, Dark Geppetto, Dark Dave. So that's what he did. Went after a couple of people and whatnot. I'm not sure, but I think he's the one that is linked to the situations that LSB was going up against on his channel. So that's interesting. But mainly, I think but besides the LSB thing, if I'm speaking on it correctly, if this is the same person, it was also a lot of just stuff on Twitter. He was like going after people on Twitter pretty good. I've been out of the mix for a while, but I do know before, while the times that I periodically was able to jump on Twitter, some people had their accounts in protected mode. Now, I was already following them, so that didn't affect me at all, but some of them did have their accounts in protected mode. I don't know if they were being attacked, or maybe they did this as a preemptive type situation or a precautionary type step or not, but that was a thing. So we'll find out a little bit about that. I think Phil tried to go ahead and speak out, so on and so forth. Then again, interestingly enough, in our current timeline, it seems to be starting up again a little bit, possibly the same person. Phil swearing to God. He's praising to Almighty. He's swearing on Almighty that he has nothing to do with it. So we'll just have to wait and see how that case unfolds. And subs are way down. It's the beginning of the month, well, middle of the month. It's a thing. It kind of happens. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fair trade-off, given the fact that you have put all this time into this vest goal situation, that subs are going to have to eventually take a hit. But I'm sure there's going to be some whale that's going to come out of nowhere and gift like 60 or 70 subs. So it is what it is. And then what is the sub goal, by the way? Retrospective? Meh. So do any of us really care? Any of us really going to lose any sleep over that shit? No. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast at hand. I won't go ahead and nag you guys any longer because I'm going to do plenty of that as we're going through the broadcast. So let's go ahead and not sit around unceremoniously. Let's go ahead and get into it and set this off right. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. And this says DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Production. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking. But we're going to get on that. We're going to get on that right now. Because ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time to watch me work. Ooh, that was sexy how I got that title through. Good shit, good shit.
Now let's play the game!
What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
It's Burger King Whopper.
One can only hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the first video that's going to start off our broadcast. Brought to us by Burnell, Dsp. And let's see here. Okay, here we go. DSP offering a simple devour video in exchange for the 100th vest streak. A legend was born in 2016. This is from May 13th of 2020, our current year of gout. Oh boy. Oh, and to put that in perspective, by the way, he's going to, like, I don't know how much this Papa John item is and whatnot. Let's say it's $8 to $10, and then a Frappuccino is probably going to cost him about $8 to $10. So, in exchange, ladies and gentlemen, for him getting 10 grand off this vest streak, he's going to spend $20 to celebrate his win. Oh, on top of whatever he's more likely going to order a vest too, a new one, and that's another what? $80, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 100. So let's say $120 will be spent out of the 10 grand that was earned. Defiant sniff. Here we go.
A 110-bit cheer and said, reject the vest, embrace the hype train. No, I think that we should actually try to do our best to continue the vest streak, since number one, it's at 75 straight streams, which is insane. And number two, because like I said, tips help me more than other contributions.
You're stupid. First off and foremost, if you have an avenue that is very easy to obtain, that can bring money to you in the long term, then you should do so. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've told you guys on plenty of occasions how bitch-made he is financially. He wants to go for short-term money, which is the tips goal, because he can get that money immediately, you know, to pay his bills, and to go out shopping, and to go out and, you know, eat on his day off with his wife, with my wife, and whatnot. That's all money that's going to come in and get spent almost as quickly as it gets there. The hype train is something that will be attached to the Twitch paycheck later on down the line. And as I said in the previous broadcast, I don't think I've said it on the other channel, but I think I've said it here, that I'm sure I've said it on the previous broadcast, that there's no reason why they are not hitting a hype train at least once an hour every hour that he streams, from the pre-streams to the 4-hour gameplay on the first stream, and then the 2 hours on the second stream. There's no reason why a hype train is not hit every hour on the hour. Well, maybe not on the hour, but at least every hour. That's reasonable, ladies and gentlemen. And because he doesn't see no value in it, because he has a one-track mind, because he's so greedy that he can only see what's at the end of his hoof and not beyond that, is the reason why he only wants to focus on the tips goal. When in actuality, for those who cannot give to the tips goal, or for those who want something a bit more immediate for themselves, right? Let's go ahead and reflect, put the mirror back on his audience when it comes to this short-term thinking. Maybe promoting the hype train would build the morale of the audience, if you think about it. Here, let's go ahead and give you some hypothetical Pignosis, right? Our favorite game. So we're going ahead. He has 4 hours. Matter of fact, he has 6 hours to hit $100 on that first stream. Yeah, 6 hours. So for that, now during that 6 hours, right? Hey guys, we have the tips goal. We're trying to make it to the vest. Trying to continue this vest streak, so on and so forth. So that's something that you guys can keep in mind. But I'd also like to really start to build some hype and morality for those of you who may not be able to donate large amounts towards the tip goal. Well, we have the hype train, and you guys can contribute towards that and whatnot. And that right there would help build the morale, even amongst some of the bigger pay pigs who are going to give to the tips goal. Maybe if they throw, $1, $3, even $5 at the hype train, that right there might motivate some of the other people who may not even be interested in the tips goal to, oh, well, I'll contribute to the hype train. I'll help DSP. I'll help Phil with that. Now, I know what most of you guys might be thinking, because you guys know that I'm reference heavy. We're all reference heavy over here. That you guys are thinking, GTG, you're not giving us the Xbox 360 speech. Now, just in case you guys don't know what that is, this is when the Xbox One came out. And the head of Xbox at the time was asked, hey, you're saying that the Xbox One has to be on, or he was at least the head of, I can't remember what the head of, I want to say he was the head of PR, whatever. He looked out of place either way. Nice suits though. I'm not going to front. Though. Nice suits. But definitely he was out of touch with the actual core fan base. Anyway, when he was pressed, if you will, on, hey, the Xbox One has to be plugged in at all times and has to always be connected to the internet, and it seems like some people have some worry that if the internet is inconsistent, that maybe they're not gonna, maybe they're gonna miss out on certain updates, or maybe they'll get booted off or whatever. What do you recommend? Are you guys willing to scale something back, or are you willing to make some modifications or make some adjustments for those individuals based on their situation? And he was like, oh, well, we already have a product out for them, for those who either can't afford it or don't have good enough internet or whatever the case may be. It's the Xbox 360. So I know most of you are probably thinking, oh shit, GTG is not going to do that. But hear me out. Under reasonable circumstances, he needs to try to go ahead and pull as much money as he can out of these people, right? Out of these pigs, out of these sheep, out of these idiots, right? Right? So with that being said, you can appeal to two separate groups at once. Go ahead and keep pushing this vest streak shit, right? Even though it ended at 73. But keep pushing that bullshit for those who really want to contribute to that and feel like they're part of something. But for the other group that may not be interested in that, or don't have enough that they feel that would matter contributing to that, they should be contributing to the hype train. I mean, he should have been pushing this initiative since day one. And I know Phil's probably thinking, oh, it's not as much, it's not going to be as much as it is for this, the tips goal for the vest streak, and that's why he's overlooking it. I'm just going to focus everything on that. I'm going to focus all of his efforts on that so that can carry the day. In actuality, having more money in the long run with the same amount of effort, in a lot of ways less effort, to be honest, I think is a better move. We're still killing two birds with one stone if we do it that way. And we're still appeasing two groups within the audience, within the chat, by doing so. It makes it inclusive, if you will, for everybody. And the fact that someone who's been on the internet for damn near almost 13 years is not smart enough, is not self-aware enough to try to see this opportunity that he has with his audience, just goes to show how big of a failure he is, which goes to show how single-minded he is, which goes to show how he's more of a user, right? He's more of a user than someone who's willing to include people in, if that makes sense. Poor wording. I'm sure someone else probably could have done it better, but you guys get my drift. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is. If the back of your head was completely flat, you probably wouldn't be able to think outside the box either. Dsp News?
And, shit. There we go. And so obviously that would help me out more. So there you go, okay? Master Shake to me $1.30 said, did you hear Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are expecting a baby? Yes, of course, it's all over social media. That is official. As of tonight, Becky Lynch relinquished the Raw Women's Championship after holding it for, what, a year? She relinquished it because, she's pregnant. And so Asuka has become the Raw Women's Champion, and, that's great. Now, the question is, will they actually allow her to have real life stuff like time off to have this baby? Or will they ever in plot lines where it's like, Akam is really the father, man? Oh no, and stupid shit like they always do in WWE with kids.
You already answered your own question. She's a product. Excuse me. She's a product. Like, and she's part of it. That's why they call the programming the product. And she's part of that product. So if they can milk her pregnancy, which is supposed to be one of the happiest moments of her life, if not the happiest moment of her life right now, if they can milk that for ratings, then they will. And if they're gonna turn it into some type of stupid not stupid contract, if they end up turning it into some type of stupid plot line, because you know the stink of Vince Russo is still over there, no matter what anybody says, then that's what they're gonna end up doing. They may not be as egregious with it, but it's just kind of the way it goes. Sadly, like no one walks away unscathed. So you kind of answered your own question. But congratulations to her on that.
So dumb.
On her pregnancy, I mean.
Gets pregnant, they have to do insane, stupid, like really ridiculous soap opera shit, and I hope they don't go that route. I really hope they don't go that route, okay?
Oh, here's the toxic bullshit. It's not a spoiler, idiots. People in the street using spoilers. It's not a spoiler. It's not a plot line. It's real life news. There's a difference between real life news and plot spoilers, stupid. So, please go right
If that's the case, then why do you get mad when people spoil stuff for you on your stream? I mean, you're right there on Twitter. You can see it everywhere. Why does results bother you so goddamn much? Plus, most of that shit's predetermined anyway. Cheat sheets are out for that shit like 72 hours in advance. So what's the big deal? Just saying. I mean, let's be honest. This is a business. This is a show. It's a product. Why are you acting like you're so invested in it when you're not? I do wonder though. And this is just kind of like my own thing. I haven't had a chance to speak on this yet. But do any of you guys wonder, or even surmise, excuse me, that the results of the actual product, right, on live shows, do you guys think that any of that has any type of financial influence on excuse me. My bad. Excuse me on that. Got the hiccups a little bit. Do you guys think that the results of the actual show itself, right? Raw, SmackDown, TNA, whatever. Do you guys think that any of that has any actual financial implications on WWE Champions? Meaning on the value or the value of the cards, right? Does a particular wrestler, will his product go up or will his card go up in value? Depending on how he's doing, will his card go down? I'm not saying necessarily popularity, even though I can understand how most of you would probably think that's where I'm going with it. So let's try to wrap that in. Popularity, but just how active they are. Because you can be extremely active and not popular, to be honest with you. So do any of you guys think that has any type of standings whatsoever as it pertains to WWE Champions? In any type of way, shape, or form. So I just want to throw that out there. I don't know if it does or if it don't. But it'd be interesting if it did. It really would. Hence the reason why Phil would also pay somewhat attention to WWE outside of his fascination and infatuation with John, obviously, hoping that one day they reunite because, you know, being reunited feels so good, right? Anyway, but outside of that, I wonder if there is an actual practical, if there's a practical reason for some of those cards over there and some of their value. Just throwing it out there, though. Semantics.
And if you keep spamming the stream chat saying spoilers, you won't be in the chat for much longer. Believe you me. Okay. Alright. That's right. This is the United States of Phil. I am the supreme being. I make the rules, and what I say goes. This is not a place for you to stand on your soapbox and complain about censorship and freedom of speech, because the bottom line is you don't have freedom of speech. This is my land.
Sam sent to me $1.50 and says, have you tried the Papa John's Papadillas? Barbecue chicken, bacon, and the Philly cheesesteak are the best. It's also a good size for only being $6. Isn't it simply like the pizza dough with ingredients, and all they do is they fold it over like this, and then they cut it to be like almost like a flatbread sandwich? Is that what it is?
That's getting really annoying, by the way. I know I've pointed this out over the last couple of broadcasts, but and I don't know why. I mean, I've always recognized it because he always does this. He always does it because it's like, I'm not sure, and then he goes into full detail of what it is. It's like this weird, it's almost like this weird mental, not even mental gymnastics. It's almost like he's playing a game with himself, right? And that's just part of his meta. I don't know. It's really stupid. But anyway, I'm really getting, it gets annoying. It gets kind of annoying that he does that. Like, you act like you really don't know what these people are talking about, then you proceed to describe exactly what the fuck they're talking about. And he does that with almost everything. If you don't know, you don't know. And if you do know, then you do know. But don't act like you don't know so you can get people more engaged with that product, and then you could gradually kind of like flush it out. Like, it's almost like you guys are doing it together. Like, it's almost like it's really kind of him playing mental chess with himself and trying to include them into it. It's really silly how he does it. And real drawn out too.
That's what it looked like in the ads and stuff that I saw for it. But no, I did not try it. Maybe I could try that. I could order Papa John's Papadillas on that stream and try a Papadilla live on stream. What do you guys think about that? Papadillas. That's something different, right? I think that's what they are. I don't know exactly if that's what they are. Maybe I could do that. Actually,
what are you talking? No. Don't back that up, because you just said you saw the advertisement for it. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Phil keeps a boatload of coupons on his dining room table, because that's how he used to determine what he would do for DSP Trizets. Just because he doesn't do DSP Trizets anymore doesn't mean that there still aren't coupons on that table down there with different advertisements for different food products. Phil is a creature of habit. He's not going to change that. So don't say you don't know what that is, then proceed to explain that you do know what that is, then say you have ads, because now you're starting to get excited, and in turn trying to get them excited to back off now and be like, oh, I don't know what that is. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I might order like a Papadillas delivery and try it. I'll order like a pizza and some Papadillas, and I'll have a piece of pizza and Papadillas on stream and tell you guys what I think during the 100 Vest celebration. The 100 Vest streak celebration. We could do that.
I'm glad his dumbass actually brought that up. So, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you who know what I'm talking about on that channel that we don't speak about, we're going to go over some of those DSP Trizets. One of the reasons why we're going to do it, especially in the later stages, right, is because when Phil and Panda were together and they used to do DSP Trizets for certain items, right? Like a couple of them that I can think of is like the KFC. It was either the Tennessee. It was either the Tennessee or the Carolina hot, like hot tenders, I think it was. It might have been Tennessee, where they have like the pickles and everything like that and whatnot, and they put a little bit of the grease within the hot sauce and so on and so forth. They actually tried that, and I think they both got 3 pieces. They got like 2 sides of coleslaw and a couple of biscuits, and then they had like a whole nother bucket. Like, I think they said it was like an 8 or like a 12-piece bucket with a bunch of other sides outside of that. They were just testing out the tenders for the DSP Trizet. But then they had a whole nother thing of food on the side. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not actually something new. He's always done that. Well, him and Panda, I should say, have kind of always done that. Where they'll order a food item and do that for DSP Trizet, or a couple of items for a DSP Trizet. And then they have like a whole nother stack of food that they're going to eat on top of that. So, just to give you guys an idea of what kind of glutton Phil was back in those days. And even though Panda, to some degree, was able to make him less chunky than he was in Connecticut, he was still, like, weird old man chunky without being old yet. It's a real strange thing. So, him ordering a food item to try it for DSP Trizet and then eating something, a damn near a whole entire meal on the side of that is nothing different. And people wonder how he got gout.
I'd actually be down for that, I think. if you guys are interested. I've never done that either. I've never eaten like on stream before. But we have to get to 100 vegetables.
Like I said, that's a lie too. He had he tested cereal, and whether you call it eating or not, he obviously sampled something or he tried something on stream. Theoretically, to be honest, you could say that he's eaten both of his birthday cakes on stream. If you think about it, not even both. There should theoretically be 3, right? Because that first birthday cake was in 2000. Yeah, that first birthday cake was in 2018, right? And that's the one that he asked his that's when Kat was still his girlfriend and soulmate to come and eat a piece of cake with him, but she had already worked that day and she was too tired and she really wanted to go to bed, and she was going to wait up for him for underwear time, supposedly. 2009 they got married, and in 2010, didn't he eat a little bit of cake on stream and washed it down with water? Which, I mean, if that's all you have, I guess that's all you have, but I would prefer milk, I suppose. But anyway, semantics. So theoretically, he has eaten on stream before. Whether it was a DSP tries or not is semantics, but he has done it. But more importantly, he has eaten, in, like I said, in 2018, Christmas of 2018, or at least that week, he sampled cereal, and he did that live. He actually had to go downstairs to get it and come back. So that kind of debunks that.
Streak. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at $22 out of 100 with an hour and 15 minutes left to go on the stream, so we've got a lot of headway to make tonight. Okay, let's go back.
Right there. That would have been a perfect... I mean, since he's already in clown mode, right? Right. Perfect opportunity to go ahead and initiate a hype train as well. You got an hour and 20 minutes. You can make that happen. And that, and Phil, at this point, was so desperate to keep the streak going outside of lying, right? Lying and said that, you know, hey, if I did mess up on the count, so what? I would have counted it as a win anyway, right? That I probably, his words, not mine, he's probably miscounted a couple of vest streaks prior to that. Who gives a shit? So if he has to lie to keep morality up, then he has to lie to keep morality up. So that is what that is. With that being said, that right there would have been a perfect opportunity to push the hype train as well. It should be looked at as an alternative to the vest streak. It's one or the other. Just saying. And like I said, over time, people might be so conditioned into, you know, helping out with the hype train that they might even throw a few more extra dollars at the vest streak. So it's still a win-win no matter what. It's a win-win no matter what. You line your pockets right now off the vest streak, or the tips from the vest streak, I should say. And then you get that extra little bit like a month or two later from the hype train. Just throwing it out there.
I would try it. If it was like a sandwich or a piece of pizza, that's not bad to try on a stream. And if you guys really wanted to see it for a 100 vest celebration, that's fair enough, right? That's not unreasonable. So I think you guys just came up with a really good idea. This is what I mean. Like, you guys give me the good ideas, and I just roll with them. The vest was your idea.
Yeah, because he's too lazy and too stupid to think of something himself. The reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is most of you guys would think it's just because he's too lazy and too stupid, which it is. But there's also a third factor in that. He doesn't handle rejection well. By that, and I mean that on a couple different levels, but he doesn't do well when he puts an idea out there and people shoot it down. And to some degree, the Pig Roach cult does shoot down things that they consider bad ideas. He doesn't handle that well. So he's like, well, instead of you guys out and out shitting on something like this, right, in this particular case and or situation, I'll force you guys to come up with the plan. I'll force you guys to come up with the idea. So this way, if it fails, or if it's stupid, I can just turn around and blame you guys. You know what I mean? So if you guys can't support what I put out there, or what ideas I throw out there, which they're really not ideas, most of the time he just forces it anyway, then we'll do it your way. And then when it fails, I'm going to laugh at you guys and say it's all your fault. Just to give you an idea of how petty he is.
I roll with it. If you think that's a good celebration thing to do, I'll do it.
Minimum effort, minimum money and time involved, maximum profit.
Damn right.
Love it. I love it. I love doing this for a living.
YouTube got to the dollar says, have you seen Adam Cole impersonate you on his live stream saying, oh, the camera's on the whole time? I don't think he was paid to say it. He did it in a sort of mocking way. I think the trolls got to him. The trolls didn't get to him. Everyone does that. Dude, it's a meme. You realize that, right? That I'm like in the top 5 most embarrassing things that have ever happened on stream ever in the history of mankind. And anyone who's into like live streaming and gaming knows about me. Probably for that reason. Not because of my fun 12 years of being a content creator, but because of that one moment. You understand that, right? Like, how do you not know that? Seriously?
Yeah, you're the toilet of the internet. You're something that you're not someone who will ever be recognized for any of your air quotes accomplishments. You'll always be looked at as a meme, and there'll always be someone. There'll always be someone to reinforce why that meme exists and why you should be laughed at and mocked, and he can never escape that. That's the reality. He will always be mocked. He will always be ridiculed. He will always be laughed at. His 12 years on the internet don't mean jack shit, to be honest. His peak was probably like 2012, 2013. Everything after that, garbage. It was meant to be laughed at. It was meant to be ridiculed. It was meant to be cut down. And that's all it is. And he knows it. And the thing is he hates it. He hates that idea. He hates the idea that these people are these individuals, I should say, these celebrities, if you will, are paid to go ahead and ridicule him or to laugh at him or to mock him. And he acts like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's some detractor throwing their money at them. It don't mean shit. But it does mean shit, because people who are fans of those individuals, those public figures, those celebrities, whatever, those people are going to be like, well, who's Darkside Phil? And then you look it up. Masturbation comes up. All the negativity, all the negative shit that he said always comes up. People, if they choose to start deep diving in it, shit gets crazy. And even worse than that, they find his shitty videos from his shitty streams with his shitty gameplay, and almost off the muscle just of that. Off just the muscle of that, it's enough to laugh at him. It's enough to realize, wow, what a waste of life. Oh, wow. He's still doing this with little to any viewership whatsoever, and the very people that he calls his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics have more views, more influence, and more respectability than he could ever imagine. That must be hurtful. But he wants to go ahead and try to brush it off because he doesn't want his fan base to go and look at it or laugh at it too, which most of them are probably doing it anyway. It's a pretty miserable existence if you think about it. And it'll always be this way. He can never change it. It's not a matter of trying to outlive shit anymore. Because now that you're in this situation, that our current climate, where you can pay someone of influence, you know what I'm saying, if you can throw a couple of bucks at him to go ahead and make fun of something under that of a gag, the celebrity doesn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? They think it's just a gag. It's a quick page. It's not even a quick paycheck. It's a couple of bucks to go ahead and give 2 or 3 minutes of their time. But to their fan base, that right there is the gateway drug. You know what I'm saying? That's the, well, maybe not a gateway drug, but maybe that's the key. That's the golden ticket, right? That's the free snort, if you will. So I guess you could say it's the gateway drug to get them in on the world of Darkside Phil. And even if they're only here, ladies and gentlemen, for 15, 20 minutes, that's still one person who comes in, doesn't recognize what he wants to recognize, doesn't even get a chance to see what his narrative is. They come in and they see him at face value. Wow, he's old. Wow, he's not that funny. Wow, he doesn't have he doesn't have any talent. And I could see why these people that, you know, these people who go against him or make fun of him on a regular basis, I can see why they're where they're at, and I can see why he's at where he's at. And then they're gone. And the ones who do stick around, they stick around for the laughs, which is the point of it all anyway. At the end of the day, Phil says this is all supposed to be about positivity. He wants to share his experiences and have a good time. Well, we're all having a good time over here. What is he doing? What has he got? How's things going for him? Something to think about.
Seriously.
In mid-2016, I accidentally streamed myself masturbating.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's hilarious, you know? The fact that people, that you know, that a wrestler is getting in the stream, because he is. Actually, I've heard during this whole pandemic where wrestlers haven't been wrestling that much, or as often as normally they would because they have no road schedule. A lot of them have been doing live streaming, so I wouldn't be surprised if many of them make references to stupid shit that I've done over the years at all. So there you go. And I'm okay with that. By the way, Adam Cole, an exceptional wrestler, and I would hope that he's actually a good streamer too. I would guess so because he's got a good personality.
Phil, weren't you bitching not too long ago? Because I don't worry, we're gonna, as we go back, we'll touch base on that. Weren't you bitching about that you couldn't get a look from Kenny Omega? And how you were trying to set up, because I do remember he was trying to set up like a couple of matches in Street Fighter with him, and some people basically gave Kenny the heads up. Kenny didn't want any trouble, and for a couple of reasons, I'll point out one in just a second, but he didn't want any additional trouble and any additional headache, so he gave that up. And Phil got caught basically holding the bag with the proverbial snorts in it. Now, Kenny Omega, interestingly enough, had an issue at a CEO not long ago. I don't know if it was like a year or two ago. Now, if you guys don't know what CEO is, it is it's a major. It's a fighting game major that's held in Florida every year. Well, what's your name? Jabali. Alex Jabali. Alex Jabali is the founder and basically the CEO as well as the TO for the tournament. He actually incorporates a lot at his tournament, and when it's almost like a spectacle in a lot of ways. Like you could say to some degree that he's kind of like the Vince McMahon of the FGC to some on a very small level, on a much smaller scale, I should say. But he has a lot going on. Sometimes I think one year they had martial art demonstrations. I think I heard. Each year there is a ring. All of the trophies are title belts, which is fucking sweet. I'm not sure if he's the only guy who does that, but because I think Civil War, they actually give sabers away, replica sabers away as their thing. Every tournament does something different. Like one in Atlanta, Final Round, they used to give away pimp cups as pimp cups as their trophies and shit. It was real sweet, but he gives away actual like legit title belts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you ever see Smug. I think Smug has like 2 of them. I think his are kind of heavy. You know, they're title belts and shit. They're like replicas that he has made. Anyway, they also have usually some demonstration wrestling matches, right? Usually held in the very same ring that the players will actually, compete in, right? And I think there was an issue that one of the guys that they had participate, who was helping to put up the ring, he was also going to be in one of these matches, dark match. And I think come to find out, like let's not go into too much detail, but like he had some issues. he had some legal run-ins on a particular thing that he shouldn't have been doing, and Kenny had endorsed him, and Kenny didn't know about any of that. He was just someone, just a young guy who was helping to bring the ring together, and he was like, all right, well, he's already in a dark match. I think Kenny actually wrestled him in that match, or he at least sponsored him to do so. And come to find out, they caught him on some they caught him on some shit, some really, really serious shit. And after that, and Kenny took a lot of heat for that. He took a lot of heat for that on social media. So ever since then, Kenny's been kind of weary about stuff, especially with certain people that he don't know, and that's understandable. To be perfectly honest with you. That's a bit understandable. So when you have someone like Phil, who is definitely a pariah, if you will, to some extent, you don't need to step in shit if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can easily wash it off, but you don't know what kind of rabbit hole that's going to lead you into. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just not worth having the stench on you for any period of time. So that's the thing. So it's funny how Phil's acting like, oh, it's not that big deal. All these guys are going to laugh at me. All these guys are going to ridicule me, but I hope for the best. But he's been bitching and complaining about that Kenny Omega thing for a while. For a good while. Just throwing it out there.
I would assume he's probably a pretty entertaining streamer, too.
The guy watching his Twitch.
Is that really him? Is he the one that caught it, Matt?
Yes!
Really? And now it's $5 tippers. I've been noticing your bits are a little bit low, but your tips are up. Well, yes and no. It's funny you say that, because when this whole thing started going down, with the vest streak, okay? And I started getting lots more tips. I was like, I thought exactly the same thing you did. I was like, I bet that the cheers are gonna decrease. And for the while, I think they did. I think a few streams they were almost 0. But they kind of even out. Like, I noticed some streams they're like high. Like, you get people who come in and they're like, you know, there were like cheering wars and stuff going on. So I think in reality they actually evened out. I guess we'll actually find out.
That's really sad that he had to come up with that excuse to try to stay face. Trust me, if he's pulling $200 a stream or $200 a day off the vest streak, he's not touching even a quarter of that in cheers. Well, not even half. Let's say half in cheers. Let's be perfectly honest with you, or in bits, whatever.
I gotta go fishing, by the way. But I guess we'll actually find out once the this month's income from Twitch comes in, and I'll see if it went like way down.
I kind of like that too, because if you think about it, that right there could have been a metaphor, metaphor, but certainly a reference. Because when he says we'll find out when, you know, the monthly paycheck from when the paycheck from Twitch comes in, he knows that the calculations for what he makes shows up on Kiwi Farms. And I would say, not that he hasn't confirmed that already, but from this statement right here, right, it's probably, well, not even probably, I have faith that it's pretty accurate. And I think he realizes it's pretty accurate too. So this is him speaking without thinking. He's automatic, and I want you guys to really take this in for a minute. This is a reach, right? This is a reach. I admit this. This is not exactly a Theo theory, but run with me on this. I think he's already accepted the fact that people know what he makes on a month-to-month basis. He's on Kiwi Farms enough to know that there are some very, very, very smart individuals over there who break down what he makes on a monthly basis, or even on just a paycheck basis, and he can't deny it. He's even stopped trying. So in a lot of ways, this is him right here publicly acknowledging what they say over there is true about what he makes. So when it pertains to bits, right, or whatever, we're going to eventually find out. So when he knows, more than likely we'll know. And he's already accepted that. He's come to terms with that. Something to think about, because the devil's in the details, ladies and gentlemen. DSP News.
Or if it ends up being about usual, what it really is. I get a feeling it's going to be about usual. By the way, subs remain the same. Subs are pretty much dead on to what they usually are. So that's no difference. But you're right that maybe there will be a decline in bits and I'll make less money from Twitch this month because of that. I don't know. There's no real way to discern now. I'll find out when I get paid. So. And
like I said, now it's not we'll find out, but now I'll find out when I get paid. That's not information he would divulge to them. So how else would they find out? Just throwing it out there, though. Like I said, not exactly a Theo theory. Not exactly a Theo theory.
Big Boss MGS 1984 took me $1. You gotta admit, it's pretty funny someone paid Chris Hansen $100 to give you a shout out. Like, I mean, what I hope is that they got something out of it, because certainly I didn't get anything out of it at all. Like, I don't care about.
You're the joke. You're not supposed to get anything out of it. To be blunt, I mean, you're there to be laughed at. What were you supposed to get out of it? Oh, were you supposed to be compensated? Was Chris Hansen supposed to take that money and donate it to you? Sorry, let's reword that. Was Chris Hansen supposed to take that money, turn around, and give it to you as compensation? It doesn't work that way. You're a lol cow. You're there to be laughed at. Go ahead and scrape up what you can and move the fuck along. Get ready to put your clown outfit back on so you can be ridiculed again. Don't worry about what you get out of it. Right? You're able to exist, which is all you've kind of ever strived to do anyway. So do that. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. So, which just goes to show in a lot of ways, and this is kind of Twitch thought mentality if you think about it, that, oh, I wouldn't mind it if I was being compensated a little bit more for it. So he's okay with being ridiculed. He's okay with being laughed at. He's okay with being mocked, as long as he's compensated for it. Well, then, aren't those troll tips that are given to you? Is that not compensation enough? I'm sorry, there's no retirement plan off troll tips. It is what it is. the grand saint of Goutopia, Mort, has given us has written the book. He has written his songs, and those songs have been passed on. This is his word. And this is what's coming from it. Thou does not have to compensate the pig roach with any more than the scrappings that is given by the pay piggies when the Tide jar goes around. Not even a dish, a jar. Because his hooves, because a dish, hooves, they would fall all over the place. All right, that was a stupid joke. Anyway, so that's what that circumstance is. That's what that situation is. You don't get to be mocked and paid for it. You can't have both. And in a lot of ways, and yet again, devil's in the details. In a lot of ways, it's kind of sad because that's him almost immediately disregarding all the support, morally as well as financially, that the people over there give him for something greater. Amazing. Now, most of you, or at least a few of you, would make the argument that, well, people are making money off his name. Yeah. And he can't even make money off his own name. He can't even compensate, or he can't compensate and or monetize his own infamy. Other people have to do it. That's kind of sad. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we've had this conversation before. You're a brand. And amongst that brand, or on the basis of that brand, if you can profit, you should. He's infamous. He's considered one of the worst human beings on the internet. Not the worst, but he's one of the worst. He's certainly considered one of the worst gamers/gamer personalities probably ever. And there's some real shitheads in gaming. And he kind of still squeaks by some of those guys. You know what I mean? He's a real piece of fucking garbage. He says really stupid shit with little to no information to back any of it up. He'll go ahead and slap anybody and everybody who says anything against him, and then when he's in real trouble, as he did with Nick Rekieta, he'll go on his hands and knees back to them and beg them for help. Which is kind of pathetic, because as a man, you would think you could stand on your own too. As a man, if you're going to say that someone is not good at what they do, you wouldn't feel the need to go to them about a field that you said they're not good at what they do. And as a man, if you have a problem, and if you know so much than this expert who already spoke on that issue, and you went ahead and downplayed them, then you would figure out a way to handle it yourself. Just throwing it out there. How much faith do you want to put in someone who is, according to Phil's words, is only 50% right about the shit he talks about? Just saying. And this is like real life shit, right? Is what Phil's talking about. This is like real life shit. This isn't just some little dinky internet crap. This is supposed to be real life shit. And he said Nick was only right about what he says 50% of the time, which is absolute bullshit, by the way. But, let's just go with it for a minute. But then when Phil got into problems with like this DMCA shit, he goes running to Nick Rekieta. Whatever. DSP knows.
That, I think it's pretty stupid that people paid anyone to do that, and I'm not going to watch the video nor talk about it. But yeah, I think it is pretty silly that people wasted all that money. But hey, that's what they do in their own free time. It's their money to blow. They can do whatever they want with it. They do weird shit with it. Go right ahead.
How exciting! Woo!
Pull it frogs, some celebrities are doing stupid videos like that to raise money for COVID-19 relief efforts, so at least maybe something good is coming out of it. I guess so. Again, I'm not watching the videos, so I don't really give a shit about them anyway, so hey, you're raising money for COVID-19, good. I support that then. Good. Anyway, earlier tonight, someone asked about what happened to the mob grinder. The mob grinder apparently doesn't work. We did all that work on it. Come to find out that mob grinder would have worked in the PC version of the game, but apparently does not work on the console version. So Papa Vera said eventually he's going to edit that mob grinder so we can at least make use of it for something, but we're not sure what yet. But it just seems like it was a waste of time, which really sucks. We put a lot of effort into it.
Wait. First off, you didn't put effort into jack shit. Papa Vera put all that shit together. Secondly, all you got to do is follow the instructions, and more often than not, because I remember watching a couple of LSB streams on that, big ups to him and Rocky, that you fucked that up royally. A couple of different times, the Papa Vera had to make adjustments for shit to go right. 2, he was getting paid each and every one of those streams. And he made some at least decent money. Beyond decent money, to be honest. But he made some decent money on some of those streams. So it wasn't a waste of time, especially coming from an idiot that's so backed up on projects, yet it was still taking money for new projects. Think about that for a minute. We're so behind on projects because he's sandbagging, because he really doesn't want to play. He's really just trying to talk and get more money through like basically some lame ass Q&A. That he was also still taking in money for potential new projects in the future and still haven't touched any of those things yet. I don't know how many projects he's behind on, but quite a few. That's the reason why that's the reason why Minecraft is being moved to, if at the time you guys are hearing this, has already been moved to the day stream so they can try to catch up. But supposedly he's still sandbagging it over there too. So if he was sandbag projects on a 2-hour stream, you're telling me he wouldn't do it on a 4-hour stream? Questionable sniff.
Primavera comes out with this giant King Kong strap on. All right, baby, you approved it. Let's do it. Uh-oh. Wait, I meant for you. No, no. Oh!
Oh no! Oh no! 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 Primavera!
Oh, fucking shit.
No! No! Primavera!
Ow!
No! No! Primavera!
Ow!
Primavera! No! No!
Oh, man. Oh, it's delicious. I love that. Pain is pleasure.
It's always funny when someone tries to troll with a detractor meme, but the detractor meme is outdated, but the person's misinformed and didn't realize that, so they're in here trolling with like the same thing that people have been saying for like months and months, and then come to find out they're completely and utterly wrong, that all changed recently, but they don't know that because they're dumb. So they still come in and say the same meme, even though it doesn't apply anymore. Alright guys, give me a second here. Let me get the vest on.
Says, when do memes expire? Like, early internet memes are still used to this day. If I assume he's talking about the bankruptcy, whatnot, that's always going to be a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, as it pertains to the bankruptcy, foreclosure, and all that nonsense, I want you to think about this for just a second. You have a 38-year-old streamer / YouTuber, bottom of the barrel on both platforms, in both regards, who has been doing this for like 13 years or some silly shit like that, some long ass time. At least the internet content creating, if you want to call it creating, if you want to even call it content. He's been doing it for 13 years. In his 13 years, he pulled himself. He was in debt when he started this shit. YouTube pulled him out of it, and then he put himself back into debt, and Twitch had and not even Twitch, the bankruptcy had to pull him out of that. Now, that's just a quick synopsis of that, but let's go ahead and delve into it a little bit more about one of the more funnier and absurd aspects of this whole situation. He sits down and he plays video games for a living. That's it. He doesn't do jack shit of anything else. This idiot got 2 business loans, potentially 3 business loans, to prop up a YouTube channel. To prop up a YouTube channel. We out here getting business loans for this. We ran up credit cards to compensate for our weak income and didn't pay them back. Just opened up new credit cards, did balance transfers, ran up the balance on that shit, then opened up another credit card and balance transferred over to that until he couldn't open up any more credit cards. Is that a meme? Oh yeah, it's definitely a meme. Is that outdated? No. That'll never be outdated. I've never heard of any internet personality doing that. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm just saying I've never heard it. I definitely never heard of a YouTuber do that. I've heard YouTubers do some stupid shit. I've heard of YouTubers doing some real dumb shit. Let me give you an example, because I'm good for that, right? Right. Do any of you guys from who follow the Call of Duty community? So this was only maybe 5 or 6 years ago. There was a guy by the name of Biblical Reaper. Does anybody remember him? He started, I think it's fair to say he started. He started a segment called Call of Duty News, Rumors, and updates. or it was news, rumors, and something else. I can't remember. Basically, what he did is every day he'd do a small segment talking about the recent news and or rumors about that Call of Duty that was coming up that year. Became very, very popular. Before that, he used to just do Call of Duty gameplay like everybody else. He had a pretty decent following, but he wasn't in that conversation. He wasn't in there with your T Martins, your Alliés, your Drifters, your well, I would say a Birdman. Even though Birdman's pretty versatile, he does other shit too. With your elite shots, even though he's slept on too, or at least he was. He wasn't up there with the elites. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't swinging with any of those guys. You know, he wasn't even mid-tier. He was like lower mid-tier. He was like on the guys on the come up. On his regular Call of Duty content. But when he started doing this news rumor segment or whatever, it really caught on. Because, like I said, he's pulling actual information or legitimate news, and then stuff he found on Twitter, or he found on Reddit, or somebody found on these other sites that were more, you know, just speculation and so on and so forth. It got really popular. It got really, really popular and really, really fast. And then he started getting a lot of spotlight on him. Then other content creators started referencing him. Then he started getting invited out to certain gameplay sessions held over at the Activision offices for Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and the other. He started getting put into that circle. He's now starting to get into that type of money. And I can't remember what he was doing before that. He was like an engineer or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But he had a really good job, and he got sick. And so he had to take a leap of absence from that job, and that's what allowed him to keep doing Call of Duty, or do YouTube to kind of keep him sharp, to keep him doing something. And then the money started to come in because he started to get all this recognition, so he quit. Or he went and took a severance package and left. And everything was going good for a little while, as usually these stories happen. And then other people kind of started to jump on that too a little bit. People kind of started to get tired of it because people were starting to get tired of, you know, mediocre Call of Duties coming out each and every year, and it started to wane. So he started digging into his retirement fund to supplement that. At the same time, he has a kid as well. Then he's getting invited out to these events, so he's spending more than he needs to, trying to keep up with these guys, keeping up with the Joneses and shit. And eventually it spiraled into this large nexus where he makes a video crying about his situation. Hard video to watch. I think it's taken down, but I'm sure there's people that have mirrored it. Ladies and gentlemen, the point of all that is everybody has a position to play, and people need to stay in their lane. And just because the people around you may have really nice stuff, you don't have to have what they have right now if that's not within your means. Your situation is different than their situation. All those guys were younger than Biblical Reaper. All them dudes didn't have any crazy obligations than Biblical Reaper. And more importantly than that, those guys were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, they were making real money. And at least some of them, T. Martin, for example, before the CSGO scam, he was investing his money to make himself richer. Like T. Martin, for example, and Allié, in a lot of ways, those guys don't ever have to worry about money again. And it's not because of Call of Duty or whatever, it's because they invested smart into that. But that's neither here nor there. When you don't have those type of details, when you're kind of just associates with those people, and you're not talking to them on a personal level like that, you don't know that. So you see them spending heavy, or you see them, or when they're being flown out, and even though everything is paid for and everything, Allié or one of those guys will ask them, hey, come out to a restaurant with us and whatnot, we're paying, or whatever. And you see everybody getting like $60, $70 plates because these guys are encouraging it, you know, because these guys are trying to be generous with their money amongst their peers and whatnot. It starts making you think, oh shit, well damn, I don't want to be seen as less than they are. You know what I'm saying? For example, I'm not saying he did any of this, I'm just saying, I am saying that is something that Allié and T. Martin and some of these guys are doing. They're known to be generous with their money amongst their peers. When you start seeing that type of stuff go on, people can get insecure. They can get insecure real fast, which is a sign of a weak personality. You don't have to do that. Just because they got it like that doesn't mean you got it like that. So in turn, there's no shame and you not trying to compete like that, or you not trying to show out like that, or you not trying to do any of that. Just stay in your lane, man. None of those guys want to see you be in a bad position because you're trying to play like they play. It don't work that way. It's just like in Call of Duty in general. Not everybody can drop. You know, shit, some of those guys could drop 60, 70 in a lobby. Not everybody can do that. Some people can't drop 30. If you can only drop 15, you can drop 15 and build your way up. Don't go out there and try to go for as many kills as possible and end up going into the negative. Nobody wins like that, especially not you. And the thing is Phil was looking at other content creators. He was looking at these other guys who were really successful, and he wanted what they wanted. Like that whole situation with Phil wanting an office space in 2013 and 2014. He wanted that because there were other YouTubers who had friends who were doing multiple bits of content with each other, and they were doing that in a private office space. They weren't doing that out of their homes. They made it separate from that. He saw that these other YouTube content creators have big homes, or they have nice homes. You know what I mean? Most of them just have really nice condos. Most of them have multiple homes. But Phil saw that they had these things, and he wanted those things too, because he'd been around a long time. He felt that he needed that. He felt like those were the signs of his success. Those are the the fruits of his labor. In a lot of ways, Panda came into that situation too. Phil was what, late 20s when he started dating her? Early 30s? Early 30, I guess, if you will, something along those lines. When he started dating that girl. That's a long time, and up to that point, people were watching Phil since he was in his mid-20s. Didn't see a female in that shit at all, really. So you got to think, he was starting to think, well, shit, man, I don't, a lot of these guys are probably asking, hey, Phil, you dating anybody? You doing this, that, and third? He really don't got an answer. So his approach to Panda, where she messaged him and he messaged her back, and then he kept messaging her and then basically broke her down until she was willing to say, yeah, I'll go out with you, kind of comes from the desperation of an individual who realizes I'm at that age where I should probably have somebody around before people start to really question what I'm actually doing. Which is one of the reasons why I think she was more of a shield than anything. She was window dressing. She was a curtain. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But that's how Phil's mind works. He has to have what other people have or something similar, because he's constantly trying to show that he has worth and that he's done something, and he has something to show for what he's done. And like I said, that's the signs of a weak person. You can't chase after what other people have. You know what I'm saying? If you got to save a little longer to get those things, go ahead and do so. Sometimes you'll find that you can get something better, usually for cheaper, if you wait. It doesn't lose or gain any more value whether you get it today or you get it next week. You know what I mean? And you would think a strong upbringing would help that. And I've speculated quite a bit on what his upbringing is. He's told us quite a bit of what his upbringing is. So that's a thing in itself. We'll talk about that another day. But it goes without saying that if both of your parents were cheating on each other, that you probably don't have a lot of very good moral standings. And with that being said, you'll probably do anything to win. You got to lie, cheat, steal, whatever the case may be. That might be something that's in your repertoire to do so. Just throwing it out there, though. Dsp News.
The vest has returned. Thank you guys very much for your support. I appreciate that. We've done it again, if you can believe it. I really liked that idea earlier tonight of doing ordering from Papa John's.
Fast food, right? I love the red meat, alright? Fast food is healthy. What we want, good shit.
Sunspot is a stupid, cowardly, ugly, jobless, narcissistic, egotistical man-child who begs for people's money just by sitting on his fat ass, sucking a video games 24/7 and will never adapt to a professional level in gaming. Do not donate to this loser. He only using good money just to buy fast food, making his fans
I like fast food
bills and keeps Moses unearned.
You do. Actually, that's something that's not... I can actually prove that. One, what does he do on his day off, his one day off with Kat? They go out to breakfast, go out to lunch, grab something quick for dinner. When Kat's birthday came around, instead of getting her $30 bowls of ramen like they had on one of their random days off, They went and got her Sonic. They couldn't even go and get her Chinese food from that Chinese place that she really likes. You know what I'm saying? He had to go out and get her Sonics. That was his first thing that came to his mind. Couldn't even make her stir fry at home. Oh, we'll just go ahead and get you some Sonic burgers for your birthday dinner, baby. We'll just do that. So yeah, you kind of just spend your money on fast food. Which is crazy too, now that I think about it. That you guys can randomly go out and get $30 ramen. Which is cool. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Whatever. But then when birthdays come around, you went out and got some Sonics. You couldn't even get her Chinese food. You couldn't even make her Chinese food. Oh, let's just go ahead and get some burgers. And then get the fuck out of my face. Something to think about.
Okay. Now back to the game. I use my money to buy fast food. That's interesting. As you know, fast food is very expensive these days.
That's not denying it. That's not denying it. He's just saying that it's not expensive. I can afford it. He's not saying that he's not doing it.
That new sandwich or whatever they're calling it. What was it again? I forgot what it was called. I think if it still exists in 2 weeks and we hit the 100 vest streak, I think we're gonna do that. It sounds like a good idea. Switch Goon to me $1.
You saw how quickly he latched onto that? And the fact that he latched onto it that quickly tells me that he was probably thinking about doing that, but he didn't know how he was going to approach them with it. He was probably scared that they would shut that shit down. That's why that first person who said it, he latched onto that shit and he stayed on it like a rabid dog. That kind of hurts me to say that, you know, the rabid dog thing, but you know what I mean? Like a hungry pig. You know what I mean?
Is when I was a bodybuilder, how many competitions would I say I won? Did I ever compete against Mark Henry? Well, the thing was, this one time, alright, I went to a bodybuilding competition, and Mark Henry was there. So, for the finals, what Mark Henry did, alright, is he basically took every weight on the rack and put it on one reinforced bar and lifted it above his head. Everyone was like, how the fuck, there's no way anyone could beat that. So then for me, for my final exercise of that bodybuilding competition, while Mark Henry had that bar up above his head, I grabbed Mark Henry and lifted him up while he was holding that bar, and then I won the competition. That's how it worked.
Things that never happened by Phil. Oh, yeah? Things that never happened.
Not with that bad back, you didn't.
Listen. Fuck off. Fuck off. These things did happen. Alright, so now this person can get banned for insulting me and saying I only look at stream chat if I get paid. That's not true. In fact, I just saw your negative comment and you got banned for it. So enjoy your permanent ban. There you go. Very, very, very hypocritical.
I love it, because I think they can sneak this. So okay, I can sneak behind Phil's back when he's busy doing something, and then I'll get him and I'll diss him on his own stream. How about you fuck off?
Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone.
Indeed it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the second and last video that will round out our broadcast. I will see you guys. Let's see here. Make sure I know exactly where it's at. There we go. And I will see you guys in just a second.
Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. By eBay. Contributions are mandatory. But I need your help. I am appealing directly to you.
I want to say thanks to everyone who hung out with me. I hope you guys had a good time. I had a good time. I don't know what happened with contributions tonight. They were like incredibly bad. Like, these are the slowest contributions on a stream I've done in probably 2 months. Like, no exaggeration. I have no idea why. We had a lot of fun. We was chill fun. We interacted. You guys got to pick games to play. Every other stream I did at Genesis Mini did good. This one did horribly. Does this mean that as a late night stream, it's not going to do good? I don't know. This sucks because I had another stream planned and maybe even another one coming up in the next week to week and a half. This kind of disheartens me about, I don't know what happened. You guys, everyone seemed to have fun, right? I don't know.
This is how I play the game! god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
Last week.
Hopefully. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the second, and last video to round out our broadcast. Brought to us by Burnell, Dsp. Daymare, 1998 donated. Dmca takedown, pig roach, and detractor united. And anyway, and subs are way down. This is from May 14th of 2020, our current year of gout. Let's get it. Why would anybody donate? Why would he even want to play Daymare? I don't understand that. He had so many problems with Resident Evil 3. Jesus Christ.
We did a poll on a stream, and you guys basically told me you'd like to see Daymare for variety's sake. It's survival horror, it's different. And you said, do Daymare. And I said, okay, well, I'll look into it then. So I did. And when I looked into Daymare, it's $40 on PlayStation 4. $40. And pretty much everyone is just review bombing this thing. It's like either people really love it or really hate it. But the people who hate it have pretty valid reasons. Like, it...
As if Phil doesn't lean toward the people who have something negative to say about a game. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, well, I answered my own question as it pertains to that, even though, like I said, we're just coming off, well, maybe not just, but you just finished playing Resident Evil like a month or two ago. So it wasn't like that long ago, but whatever, semantics, I suppose. As it pertains to people's thoughts on it, it is what it is. It's definitely, you can definitely feel the Resident Evil dripping off of it. But yet again, him gravitating to the negative aspects of the game makes sense. Hence the reason why it needed to be donated, because he wasn't going to throw $40 down to buy it. Despite the fact that on, let's say, I don't know how many times he played it, but let's say he played it for 3 streams, he's getting $300 off those streams. Or he's going to get $100 per stream over the span of 3 streams. So he made that money back and some. But, ladies and gentlemen, have the pay piggies pay for it. You guys want to see me play? You guys want to see me play it? You guys got to pay for it. He finally figured out a way. Well, maybe not finally, because it's not like cemented. He can't get them to do that with every game. But he's well. If you think about it, every stream, every day that he streams, he could buy one game. At the very least, he could buy one game with that. One game could be designated, I should say, could be designated out of that stream money each and every day. That's 6 games a week. That's what, 24 games a month. Yeah, I guess if one was to think about it, I guess he has figured out a way to make them pay for pretty much all games being played. If you think about it, if you want to put it in the perspective that way. All right, then. Well, let's go ahead and go with that until something else comes up.
Runs like shit on PS4. The frame rate's choppy. The controls are actually delayed. And it adds to a lot of frustration in a game that otherwise on PC didn't have any of these issues. It was just like a really bad port to PS4. Okay? So, after looking into all of that, I was basically like, well, if that's really the case, I can't really justify dropping $40 on a game that, number one, I know will not be very long. People told me it's about 8 hours long. I'm like, maybe 2 streams of it. I can't really justify dropping a lot of money on it.
I can't justify dropping $400 to make $200 at the very least. At the very least, I can't justify dropping $40 to make $200 back. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, he has a business major. He took classes in finances. He understands how to make money. Certainly doesn't understand how to spend it.
If it's going to be a bad port and a bad experience. So, originally I was going to do Daymare, but then people kind of talked me out of it. And I was like, alright, well, I guess what we'll do then for now, we'll just start up Fire Emblem 3 Houses. During my day off yesterday, I was contacted by a viewer saying, it's a shame that I'm not playing Daymare because it really would have broken up stuff with some good variety right now. and that I've basically been playing.
Now, for Fire Emblem, sorry. If you guys really want to see a playthrough of that, you should probably go ahead and just watch LSB, Lightside Bill. You should probably just go ahead and watch him play it. Because Phil is not going to go through any of the side quests. He's not gonna really immerse himself or his character in it. It's gonna be a shitty playthrough. It's gonna be a really shitty playthrough. If you want a better breakdown of what the game entails and how Phil is gonna botch that shit, just talk to Lightside Bill. I think he'll lay it out proper, because Phil is gonna completely and totally, utterly botch that shit. If that last Final Fantasy playthrough has taught any of you guys anything, Phil is going to screw Fire Emblem up terribly. But semantics, though. Semantics. Not too many people out here that are offended by digital titties.
RPG. You know, it was Knights of the Old Republic, then it was Mass Effect 2, then it was Final Fantasy 7. Now it's going to be Fire Emblem. It's like I've never stopped playing RPGs, and it's a shame because they wanted to see some variety. I said, well, I will donate Dmca. And I was like, okay, well, if you're going to donate the game, then I'll play it.
Alright, sounds good to me.
I mean, I was going to play it regardless until I found out that it basically is a bad port, and I said I would skip it, but if it's free, it's free, right? So I said, okay, and then it was gifted to me, so it's actually downloading on my PS4 right now, okay?
These cult mentality people.
Now, okay, so what you're seeing is the culmination of the situation with this whole Dmca nonsense going on, and Lightside Paul coming through, willing to be Phil's tag team partner to go ahead and get and get this false flagger up and out of there and shit. My initial thoughts. Once is a coincidence, and two is kind of suspect, given Phil's track record. The fact that this situation happened, yeah, and it looked like Phil was trying to do the right thing. This is kind of like Phil's reverse pro Jared moment, if you will, trying to clean up the mess, and even willing to associate with some detractors who, for whatever reason, aren't blocked, by the way, keep that in mind, who aren't blocked and willing to, stand up and do the right thing. And then the guy allegedly turns on him, this false flagger turns on Phil, after professing his basic loyalty to the Pignosis and to the High Council of Snorts. Turns on Phil, then the guy disappears for a little bit, and now he's back going after detractors again. It seems suspect. But initially, it seemed like Phil was doing the right thing, but it still rubbed me wrong. Because Phil just doesn't do the right thing just to do the right thing. He has to benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. As we talked about in the last video of this broadcast, when, where these celebs are being paid to make videos about Phil, and Phil's like, well, what am I getting out of it? Same thing with this false Dmca. You don't think Phil's name's not already in the mud? What the fuck does he care? Phil's already been caught trying to Dmca or false flag or false copyright strike videos. He's been caught red-handed doing this before in the past. So him targeting people on Twitter is not out of the ordinary. Speaking of which, one of you guys asked from the second channel, hey, sometimes when you insert those clips of Phil saying stuff, I can't find the Twitter account that you have linked, that you have up there in text. Why is that? That used to be that. First off, that's Dragon Killer and whatnot. DSP Archives. He's I think still going by I can't remember what name he's going by now. I do that to pay homage to him because his original account got taken down on some bullshit too. Don't know if it has anything to do with this person or what have you, but his account got taken down on some bullshit. I actually word it that way because one, all of those clips I was able to get it from that account, So all those clips are associated with that account, and that's just to pay homage to him and that old account. Even though he has a brand new account, I haven't grabbed any clips from his Twitter timeline in a while. He's kind of moved away from DSP shit unless it's relevant now. But that's the reason why I do it, because I don't want people to ever forget about DSP archives. That's the reason why I put formally from DSP archives. So, excuse me, I didn't mind explaining that. I should have done that earlier on. Now, whether this person has something to do with DSP archives being taken down, who could tell you? But he lost like 3 or 4 accounts in the span of like a couple of months, which is very, very suspect. So keep that in mind. Initially, yet again, I don't know. Can I say Phil's behind it or not? Who could say? You know, Phil's a very untrustworthy individual. This could be a double blind. This could be a false flag. It could be anything. Maybe he did try to do the right thing. Who knows? Maybe the person reached out to Phil behind the scenes and says, hey, I'm the one that's doing all this, but I'm doing all this to try to get some heat off of you and get that on me. And then I'm going to go ahead and go after you for a little bit just because. Now, yet again, that's completely a conspiracy theory. It's not even a real conspiracy theory because I'm not even going to put no energy behind it. The fact that it's happening again right now in our current timeline, in our current saga, it's not a coincidence anymore. You can go ahead and say it's a coincidence. Phil did the right thing this time right here. But what's going on right now in our current timeline, I don't know. It's starting to stink to high heaven. I don't know what it is. Like I said, time will tell though. At the end of the day, most of Phil's misdeeds and or misgivings will always come to light. You guys all know what the situation is over here. You guys know what the saying is over here. You give Phil enough rope and he'll hang himself. If Phil could use false DMCA attacks on his detractors, going through somebody else to try to make him look good, you don't think Phil wouldn't? You don't think Phil would take that opportunity? His name is already shit. All he can do now is try to give people the impression he's a decent person. You want an example? I can give you one. Look at Pro Jared. The pig saw that, smelled the raw slop in his trough and came a running. And it happened to be Pro Jared in that very, very nice Sailor Moon outfit that he was wearing. And he smelled it like blood in the water and came a running. Had 2 tweets that he says that went viral, which it isn't viral. That's just another day on Twitter and whatnot. No big deal. And then off the basis of that, he tried to do a 7-year slander video trying to clear up the mess because he thought he had enough pull, he had enough muscle that he could go ahead and try to clear everything up and have enough people, new people, on him to at least give him the benefit of the doubt to try to basically get the detractors to back off. Failed at that. You guys want another example of someone who tried to use a little bit of opportunity and a little bit of momentum in their favor and took a little more than what they should have? Wings of Redemption is a great example. Jordy, you guys remember when Josh from Kiwi Farms went into the I can't remember what the name of the group is. I want to call it the Whale Watchers Enthusiasts Discord to ask some questions about the situation with Wings, what was the problem that they had with him, and so on and so forth. Wings ends up catching wind. Josh ends up doing his stream, going over all of that and exposing that whole situation around all of that. Wings all of a sudden thinks he got muscle. He thinks he has pull. Someone trolls him on his stream and he's like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get all your information. I'm gonna send it to some guy to the boys over there at Kiwi Farms. I'm gonna get you set up. And then he ends up getting banned. Then Jordy ends up getting banned for like a week for doing that shit. It's situations like that. When you take people who are powerless and you put them in a position of anything, of what is perceived to be power, into what is perceived to be influence, they'll take that and they'll run with it. They will take that and run with it because that's how desperate they are to find some type of relief. You know what I mean? And more importantly, not just relief. This is where the greed comes into play. But to reestablish power, to reestablish dominance. And that's what both of those situations were. Now, based off that, yet again, this is not exactly a Theo theory. This isn't even a theory. This isn't even a conspiracy. You know what I mean? It's none of that. I haven't pointed out any players yet. I haven't delved into the cabal of potentials. I'm not doing any of that. What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have a person who has a history of doing things through other people to try to give himself high ground. If this, the first time, you can let that slide as in, okay, maybe he's trying to do the right thing. But the second time, ladies and gentlemen, given his track record, given his affinity to get over, to lie, to do whatever he can to get over on people any way he sees fit, that this second time seems very goddamn suspect. And if it turns out to be pig shit, then that means the first time, this time right here that we're going over, is also bullshit. Just throwing it out there. I understand and I even respect the detractors who tried to give him the benefit of the doubt this first time around. But this second time, though, is a real fucking problem. And for it to happen in such a short amount of time tells the story. But we'll see, though. Time will tell. But I haven't actually, I don't have a theory about any of that yet. I need to look into it more before I do so. I love the music choice, though, by SnortBucks. Shit's great. Actually, I'm not sure if it's going to show it here or not, but even the quartering jumped into this and said that if legal action needed to be taken, he would fund DSP's efforts in it. So that was unexpected. I'm not sure if you're going to see that tweet here, but that was rather unexpected that he decided to come out that way. So that's something to think about.
I don't know what's going on with some guy on the internet who apparently is he's not just doing this with me, he's been doing this with others. He's impersonating people on the internet, on Twitter, and basically filing false Dmca takedown notices against various people on the internet. And I don't get this guy's angle, alright? I guess this guy's name is Super Hound Media or something, and I never heard about him until yesterday when a bunch of people contacted me on Twitter and were like, were you issuing takedowns on Twitter? And I'm like, no, it's my day off. The last thing I would be fucking doing is issuing takedowns. First of all, I've told you guys this over the years. I'll say it again. I do not like the whole idea of copyright takedowns.
Now, yet again, SnortBucks right. It's very hard to believe that, being that Phil has done this before and done it for years. I'll give you an example. So, like I said, when I stepped into my rookie year, which was like mid-late 2017, right? There's at least 2 videos, maybe 3, that SnortBucks had done that I think it was like towards the end of the year that I wanted to go over. Completely came up missing. The videos afterwards, people said that they think that those videos were false flagged and SnortBucks had to take them down. In 2018, that I know of, there's at least 5 SnortBucks videos that went up and were taken down within the same day. Whether because they got flagged and YouTube took them down, or SnortBucks had to take them down before they got flagged. So trust me, Phil has been on the hunt, and that's just with one content creator. That's just with SnortBucks. And then when you think about the leaks that came later by that mod, who released the leaks about Phil wanted SnortBucks videos taken down, wanted the artist formerly known as Secret Life of DSP's 2017 top 10 worst moments video taken down. There's somebody else up there too that was targeted. Just off of that coincides with it coincides with the SnortBucks videos that went down in 2017 and 2018. So trust me, Phil is not above that. Yet again, that goes back to my previous statement, but yet again, that's not a theory. I'm not throwing out a conspiracy at all on any of that yet. It's just, it's real suspicious given that Phil has a track record of doing this. And it is understandable that, oh, well, then it could be a double blind and it's someone else doing it just to put heat on Phil. And then by proxy, make Phil look good because Phil's not really doing it and it's coming out that he's doing the right thing. I get that. And I even said that a little bit early on. But yet again, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I want to go ahead and jump on that, right? And go ahead and just start basting, right, that bacon. But sometimes it pays just to wait. We'll have to wait and see. But something definitely don't smell right. Something's very, very stinky in Seattle.
First of all, I've been the victim of false copyright take.
You know what I just thought about? Something's very stinky in Seattle. Phil stays up drinking all the time at night, sleepless in Seattle. Something's very stinky in Seattle. Phil doesn't bathe every day. Holy hell! That was funny. I didn't think about that. I didn't put all that together.
Downs many times over the years, and it's to the point where like my channel on YouTube was very, very negatively affected by it. Even though I got it cleared up, the damage was already done, and I don't support false copyright takedowns whatsoever in any capacity. Okay? Now, some people have said, well, Phil, over the years, why don't you take down stuff on YouTube? Right? On YouTube. Not on Twitter, which I don't give two fucks about, but on YouTube. Alright? Well, here's why. Because number one, it doesn't stick. It just doesn't. If you try to take anything down on YouTube, YouTube basically counters and says, well, this person disputed it, so you have to sue them to have it stick. So why bother? I'm not going to sue anyone. You know, I'm a positive guy. I want to make positive content. I don't want to sit here getting embroiled in lawsuits and shit against people who made defamatory videos against me. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't care. I can't help it anyway, so why bother with that shit? That's so stupid, right? In addition, like I said, I don't like the whole idea of copyright takedowns at all. You know, obviously it's an internet gray area. What's legal, what's not, who knows? And I'm not going to get caught up in that shit. I'm well aware there's tons of people who take my content every day and make videos, streams, all kinds of crap with it against my will. And I mean, I've been doing this for almost 12 years now. I pretty much have conceded that there's really nothing I can do about that. People will do what they're going to do.
Good job, Phil, with taking that L. The problem is, though, is that I don't have enough faith in you to actually be content with that L. I understand you. I like the idea that you admitted that you lost, but some deep down in your ego, as shallow and as fragile as it is, and it's basically shattered into pieces, you're still willing to fight for that little piece. With that being said, let's go ahead and address the situation with Twitter. Let's cut some bacon off his back, shall we? The thing is with Twitter is he can't say that I don't give two fucks about the shit on Twitter when, yet again, he took an active role in that Pro Jared situation. On top of that, he has, interestingly enough, certain detractors blocked on Twitter, and then he has certain detractors muted on Twitter, and then he has some detractors that aren't blocked at all. So not everybody in detractor Twitter is part of the gentleman's club, if you will. It's not everybody. So that's a thing, right? On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, there is way more damage that can be done to Phil's ego. Now, like I said, hold on to this when I say this. There is more damage that can be done to Phil's ego on Twitter than it can on YouTube. The reason why is because Phil lives on Twitter. That's where he gets all of his information from. It's not like he reads any of the articles that are linked in the tweets. He just goes off the tweets and adds his own logic to it, which isn't very good in its own right, and just moves with it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of detractor Twitter stuff makes its way to Phil. He's admitted this plenty of times. No matter how many people he does block and or mute, it still gets to him. It's like the information, I should say, still gets to him. And in turn, it's just more space that's occupied in his head. So even when he thinks he's detaching himself from Twitch or even YouTube, there's still Twitter. And there's still Kiwi Farms. And all that shit feeds itself into this detractor vortex that he just can't escape because he doesn't want to. You know what I mean? So let's not act like Twitter doesn't mean anything. Okay? He keeps a close eye on Twitter because he's waiting for one of us to fuck up and fall. And on top of that, look at what happened to Pro Jared. If Alpha Omega Sin screwed up again, well, screwed up at all, I should say, Phil would be all over that. If Review Tech USA, Rich from Review Tech USA fucked up. He'd be all over that. He watches all this shit. He's deeply ingrained in all this shit. So yes, he has a very active reason to pay attention to what's going on Twitter, and more importantly, to care about what's being said about him on Twitter.
The lol cow. Dark side filled the lol cow.
Lol cow. The fact that I'm still here after all that time of people being negative to me is a testimony to, I feel, my persistence and my resilience, and I'm not going to let
Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You have nothing else. I'm tired of hearing that, by the way. Because people bring that up sometimes, too, where they're like, oh, Phil's still here, so what did you guys accomplish? Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Some of the same people who have said that, right, are the same ones who said he makes $100,000 a year begging. Why would he give that up? Okay, fair enough. Then to complement what you've already said, what else is he going to do? I'm going off what you say here. I'm not being sarcastic, or I'm not trying to patronize you. He's not going to make any more money anywhere else doing what he's doing, right? Not without trying, and not without putting in years upon years. So where is he going to go? And what is he going to do? What skills does he have? What can he bring to the table to any executive in HR to be like, I'm suitable for this job? He doesn't even have the social skills, I think, to make it through an interview, let alone actually be in a high stress, high risk, high reward type office where people expect you to get shit done ASAP, not when the due date is, ASAP, and get on to the next project. I don't think he has that in him. I don't think he ever had that in him. Hence the reason why he was so quick to gamble on this. So what is he going to do? So the talk of persistence and, you know, the fact that he never gave up and all, fuck all that. He had no choice. That's the reality. He had no choice. Which is ironic. Isn't that ironic? Because since he has nothing else, why wouldn't he try to do better and be better at this? Think about that.
That stuff stop me. So I don't really care about it. So if I'm not even bothering with it on YouTube, right? Why in the holy hell would I do anything on Twitter? It doesn't make any sense. Of all the places, Twitter, who gives a shit, right? So I don't know who this person is, but apparently they've been impersonating me and saying that they are me and claiming these I guess, Twitter posts. I'm assuming what it is, people are tweeting a link to their content that takes my content and makes it, you know what I mean? Like they're linking to a detractor video on Twitter or something. I don't even know because I don't pay attention to this shit. But all I know is they're impersonating me. They're basically going to Twitter and saying, "Oh, I'm Phil Burnell." And
I don't know this. I don't pay attention to this shit. But these people right here are going ahead and stealing my identity, as in they're impersonating me, so they can go ahead and put links to their YouTube, so they can take down people who are putting links to YouTube channels, to detractor YouTube channels, and because they're using pieces of my content within their tweets. This is him saying all these things. This is him describing the situation, but he doesn't know anything about it. Something to think about.
I want this taken down because it's my content and I didn't give permission. And I guess Twitter is being fooled and taking stuff down. And I guess this has been happening for months and months, but I don't know if it was the same guy or whatever. But I guess yesterday a lot of people reached out to me and were like, "Is this you? What's going on? I don't understand," you know. And I'm like, "Of course it's not me."
People trying to play as the victim. Yeah, well, that's what it is. They do something bad, but then they realize, oh shit, maybe we went over the line and we're going to get in trouble for it. Oh, quick, let's try to flip it so that we're innocent. It's called, defense mode, panic mode, for people who know that they screwed up.
The last thing I'm doing on my day off is sitting on Twitter issuing Dmca takedowns. I'm doing stuff with my family, you know? Like, I don't give a shit about this. So, that's not me. I don't support it. I don't know.
That wasn't convincing at all. That's not convincing at all. I can literally smell the bacon grease that he's sweating right now. I can smell it.
What's going on with it? And
I imagine him swaying back and forth furiously at that situation as well. So, yeah, you're not convincing anybody with this.
Just so you guys know, I would not be involved with that kind of crap. All right, I just wouldn't. I have no point in partaking in it. Like I said, I'm a positive guy. I don't get embroiled in the negative shit. So I don't know why this person's doing it or whatever. I did ask them to stop, and they basically were like, "Oh no, I'm not going to." They're like, all right, fuck off, and I reported them to Twitter, and that's that. That's the end of it for me. I have no other further involvement in it. If they get shut down or not, there's nothing I can do about it. Hopefully, Twitter will, take heed here and understand that this is not me doing it, because I've never issued a single one of these things. I don't know why. I don't know what this person's angle is. Because this person apparently has done this before. It's not just me. Like, they've done it with a million other people, impersonating them to take stuff down. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, what the hell do you get out of this exactly? I'm lost, And if ever I don't support people impersonating me. And that's another thing too, white knighting, all right? It's one thing if you have a content creator who you like and you defend them.
I don't support people white knighting me. All I can say is blood for the blood god. He can deny he didn't know what Vidal was getting ready to do over there or what Vidal was doing. But womp womp. That Anonymous, when he went at what's your name? Bad Bunny. When he went at Bad Bunny, when Bad Bunny was watching, was kind of profiting off of DSP there for a little while. He was going hard in the paint over there for Phil. Let's be honest, he's got plenty of pay piggies who have white knighted over there and done that for him on his behalf. He may have not have condoned it, he may not have asked him, but he didn't do anything to stop it, which is kind of the same thing that people get on Pokimane right now for. She may have not have condoned whoever that guy was giving up all that money, whether his situation was he was going destitute or not, whether that was a joke or whatever, it doesn't matter. The real takeaway from it all is, if you have people over there giving enormous amounts of money that they don't really have, you may not have condoned them giving you that donation, but you didn't exactly stop it either. You know what I mean? You still took the money. You know what I'm saying? And if their situation was publicly put out there and whatnot, and you still didn't do anything to react to it, or if you didn't give it a reaction, I should say, then that still makes you somewhat at fault. You still hold a level of responsibility. You know what I mean? Especially when they're trying to vie for the attention from a person who truly doesn't give a fuck about them anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? Which goes into this whole situation where we're attacking sponsors now. Going after Gundam sponsors was already low. Like, really fucking low. And now you got two other millionaires in H3 and Keemstar doing that stupid shit. And for what? You got two rich old men attacking each other. For what? Because they got nothing better to do? Because now that iDubbbz is out the way, they don't have anything to worry about? Like, what's the situation? We'll dive into that later on.
Against people who make fun of them or attack them. It's another thing to white knight and basically step up and try to do stuff on their behalf without their permission. That's completely unacceptable. And just so you guys know, I do not, absolutely not support that kind of behavior, and never have. I don't want anyone doing anything on my behalf without my permission. That's not right. That's my legal content that I put on the internet every day on Dspgaming or here on my streams. It's no one's right to try to step up and legally do stuff and claim stuff in my name. That's completely out of bounds, illegal, and fucked up in my opinion. Alright? So, I do not support that at all. And,
I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
I hope it ends. The thing is, I have no control over it. I'm not involved in it. This is Twitter's issue, I guess, where Twitter has a broken system. But I'm assuming that Twitter's system is very similar to how YouTube's used to be. Anyone can literally just, present some cursory information about someone who created a video on the internet, and Twitter just takes their word for it and immediately just strikes down stuff instead of actually doing, their own diligence of researching it. So, I don't know. I don't know why that would happen. And why what this person's angle is, I have no idea, but it's not me, and I'm not involved in it. Like I said, I reported it, I'm done with it, and my hands are now off, I'm not touching it again. Just so everyone knows, if you ever see that, oh my god, a video got taken down off YouTube. Oh, look, something's off Twitter. That's not me. I'm never involved in that stuff. I am way too busy, doing stuff, content creation-wise, to be striking stuff down. I don't get involved in that crap, okay? Just throwing that out there. Alright, guys?
What the fuck? Listen to this. Someone named Surprise Sweet Meat to the dollar says, I got a mouthful of meat that time. I got a mouthful of meat and a little bit of sauce. This is it sounds like someone's watching a marathon of DSP Tries It. Oh man, I got a mouthful of meat and a little bit of sauce. Oh my god.
But as you can see, subs are way down. Like, we're now about 100 subs away from hitting the sub goal this month, so we've dropped like 70 plus subs.
What I'm hoping for is the best. I'm hoping that we'll have some generous parties who will step up and contribute and help.
So it's obvious that one of two things is happening. It's either, number one, that there were a ridiculous amount of gifted subs, and more than likely, the people who were supporting via gifted subs are now tipping to make this vest goal happen every day, which is fine. I'm appreciative of that, but that could be a very logical reason why subs are way down. The other thing is very simple. There's really no new releases right now. You know, you take a think of, look, I'm finishing up Neo 2 that I've been playing for 2 months.
How does that make any sense? Now, the first part, I can get on board with that. Everybody's going ahead and would rather sacrifice subs to hit the vest goal. I get that. And he's the one who preaches that the sub goal is the most important thing because he gets that money right away. Yet again. And since he's too stupid to go ahead and try to advertise the hype train and the sub goal together, I can understand why subs would go down the drain. On top of that, yes, of course they were gifted subs. Of course, the reason why you lost all of those subs is because they were all gifted. He gets gifted a large amount of gifted subs each and every month. He knows that, so that is what that is. The second excuse, though, about there's no new releases is as desperate and as pathetic. That's not even an excuse. That's not an excuse. Because if that was the case, ladies and gentlemen, why isn't it that he has 1,000 subs, right? Whenever there's a new release. If really one of the reasons that subs are low is because there's no new releases, right? Right? Then why isn't it that when there are new releases, why doesn't he have 1,000 subs minimum on stream? If that right there is supposed to be one of the hinging factors in the growth or the decline of subs, then why isn't that a thing? To be perfectly honest, that's a terrible excuse. It's a terrible excuse, and it reeks of desperation. He shouldn't have even brought it up. He should have said, the reason why is because more people are contributing to the vest goal, so they can keep the streak alive, and I was gifted a bunch of it at the beginning or the middle of last month, which is usually what happens. That's why. Those are his two reasons. To try to give up a third, to try to stay face, is pathetic. And he should have let it go. He gave two reasonable, for whatever that's worth, he gave two reasonable examples on why subs are down, and he should have left it at that. But yet again, that's Phil wanting just a little bit more. And that's Phil so concerned by what people think of him, and he's so scared of people laughing at him and calling him a failure, that he throws something in that some idiot like me is going to call out and be like, that don't make sense, and here's why. He has to make better decisions publicly, right? If you run a business, right, and how the business is presented to people is one of the determining factors on how much confidence that they have in that business, and air quotes on all this, by the way, and the product that it produces. You have to make smarter decisions about how you present it. If you present a bad product in a bad way, everybody's going to assume that it's just a bad product. It's not hard to figure out. Dsp News.
I just finished up Final Fantasy VII that I've been playing for a month. Resident Evil 3 was quick. Doom Eternal's been done for a while. So there's really nothing to bring in new viewers to the streams right now. It's pretty much just you guys, the kind of the dedicated hardcore viewers coming to check stuff out. And I would even, I would guess that probably until next month, when we're going to have games like Last of Us 2. I think next month, June, there's at least 2 to 3 major releases coming out within like a 2-3 week period that will probably see some natural influx of viewers to come check them out. But I get the feeling that, things are just slow right now because of the pandemic. Things kind of got screwed up with gaming schedules and everything. And because of that, you don't get that natural incoming new viewers. See what I mean? So here's the thing. Like, I'm perfectly happy with where we are. You guys are so supportive every single day on stream. I'm not going to sit here and complain and say, oh my god, we're so far away from the subs goal. Oh, doom and gloom and cry my eyes out. That's ridiculous. I'm good right now with the amount of support you guys are giving me every day. I'm super happy. But, being that it is the 13th, we're almost halfway through the month of May, I feel that coming back from break, I should kind of call out, we've only got about 2.5 weeks left in the month, and if we're going to, hit this subs goal, there's got to be a lot of movement.
The contradiction here is amazing. Hey guys, subs are way down. Here's the reason why subs are down. Now, I'm not saying that, I have a problem with subs being down. I'm super okay with where we're at. You guys being super supportive. Everything's gravy. Everything's good. I would be a completely disingenuous piece of shit if I had the nerve to turn around and complain to you guys about the subs are being down. But there's 2 more weeks until the end of the month, and if you guys want to hit the sub goal, you guys need to contribute, and you guys are down by a lot. You see the fuckery that was going on and all that? And it's so much, there's so much pignosis wrapped up in that shit that you could see how someone can get lost in that shuffle. You know what I mean? You can kind of understand it. So, it's a thing.
A lot of ways to go, and right now it ain't looking good.
Save the pig! What the heck? A pig with a party hat. Hello, Mr. Piggy. Ziggy Piggy. Save the pig, the game. The whole game you're trying to save the pig's life. Help!
I don't want people to feel disappointed if we don't hit this subs goal. It is what it is, Right now we got the vest streak going. And by the way, I should let you guys know we have had several updates in regards to the vest streak and an upcoming 100 streak celebration. Yes, I just said that. It actually looks like we're going to hit... Well, alright, let me say it this way. I don't want to take it for granted. But right now, if things keep going the way they're going, we may hit 100 streaks. Or 100 stream streak. Okay? So some updates in that regard. First of all, a couple streams ago, we were talking about ideas of what I could do. And people were like, we really want you to do a DSP Tries It. You haven't done a DSP Tries It in a million years. Even if it means you just do it live on stream, we would love to see you do a DSP Tries It. That's something different. Because you haven't done one in a million years. I said, okay, well, what should I do? And people have been trying to come up with ideas. One was the Popeye's chicken sandwich that came out, last year or whatever and was virally popular. And I never tried it.
I'm salivating at the goddamn mouth.
But the other thing was, I guess Papa John's Pizza has this new sandwich that what it essentially is kind of like a calzone. It's pizza dough with sandwich ingredients in between, heated up, melted, and then they fold it over. So it's like a folding sandwich. And again, I've already forgot what it's called. Oh, it's a papadilla. Is that what it's called? Papadilla. And people were like, that could be a pretty interesting thing for you to do during your 100 vest streak celebration, is you get a papadilla and do it live on stream, doing live DSP Tries It. So, yeah, I thought actually that's a pretty good idea.
How can we have revenue streams from idiots? How do we fool the common moron into giving us money for zero effort? And so now I can just turn on a webcam and immediately guys just throw me money with zero effort. And obviously it's not even quality, it's just exploiting, right? It's exploitation is the real word for it, I guess.
We are now on a 76, holy crap, vest streak. Meaning 76 straight streams that I put out for you guys, over a month's worth of content. Every stream we have hit the tips goal. That is insanely outstanding and positive, and I thank you guys again for your overwhelming amount of positive support in the last month. It has been insanely cool. And obviously, we'd like to see that continue. We'd like to hit 100 vest streak and do a big celebration at the end of this, right? Seaman Demon Apocalypse did 100-bit cheer and said, if you don't mind, I have a personal question for you. What's your favorite Lady Gaga song? Let me think about this. I would say Born This Way. There you go.
When I was a child, I was very different than the other children. I'm different, you know what I mean? See? I'm different. But some people still can't get it between their ears into their brains that I'm different. PW Dubs to me $1.30 says, did you just come out? Does cat know? Is your family accepting of that? What do you mean? When I said that someone has their hand up my ass and they're going like this to make me talk? That wasn't coming out. That's, you know, a lot of people have things up their asses that you know, they're not coming out of the closet just because of that. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean up here a little bit and gather my thoughts and whatnot, and we'll have final thoughts, and I'll let you guys go on with your day. All right. Amazing stuff. I'll see you guys in just a second. Oh wow. Oh boy.
Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. That I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, all right, let's close up. So, let's see, last thoughts. Let's see here, hold on a second. I think I'm okay with that. All right. So last thoughts. Let's see here. Offering just a devour video in exchange for the 100 vest streak. Yet again, I think if he's doing the Papa John's thing, if he's doing something from SnortBucks, and if he's doing the vest, I think it's fair to say $120. But spending $120 out of 10 grand is bullshit. But it is what it is, and he gives them, he treats his audience, his fan base, the cult, the pay pigs, however you want to word them, he treats them the exact same way he treats his content. In the fact that he gives them he gives everything the bare minimum. Even life, in a lot of ways, he gives it the bare fucking minimum and wants to get everything out of it and some. He feels that he should reap the rewards to its maximum capacity, which is absolutely foolish, by the way. But you know, Mr. Burnell's been doing this for 12, 13 years. He knows better. It is what it is. And to be honest with you, if his audience aren't going to have enough guile to hold him to a higher standard, which you haven't seen them do it up to this point, and the ones who did ended up turning into detractors for the most part, or just left outright, then why would you expect them to do that now? Though one can always hold out some type of hope that reason will eventually seep in, that the pignosis will eventually dissolve. For some people, it takes a little longer than the others, and for those who do end up finally breaking it, they usually just pick up and go. They've kind of given too much. There's a lot of mental exhaustion that comes out of this. I had a chance to speak to someone, they will remain anonymous, who reached out to me, and they were like, when they finally got up and out, they said it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like the first time they were able to breathe, and I think they said like 2 years. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is all supposed to be he says this is all supposed to be just supporting a streamer. You know what I'm saying? This is all about playing games and having fun and sharing your experiences and shit. But when you get involved in some of this deep shit, like, you know what I'm saying, some of this deep extra shit, right? Or you're just showing up on streams trying to show support, and you're hearing, and Phil's telling you that these detractors all hate you and they're all trying to come after you for your personal information and whatnot. And, you know, you got certain mods probably telling you certain things and whatnot, and so on and so forth. It can make people rather distrusting of the opposition because they only know what they're being told. Not every pay piggy goes out there and finds out what detractor Twitter has or what Kiwi Farm says. And the reason why that is because Phil tells them don't. you're only going to expose yourself. You're only going to put yourself into a problem, or you're only going to feed into their bullshit. Don't do that. So he can control the narrative with certain people, or with a small group of people, if you will, who aren't willing to venture out and actually see what's being said. And so when you hear an individual say something like that, like it's the first time they were able to get a breath of air, you know what I mean, or breathe for the last like 2 years, or whatever the case may be, that's telling. That's telling. You know what I mean? And we're not even talking about someone who was deep in the bullshit, you know? So that gives you some perspective on what this Phil shit actually entails, in any stretch of the imagination. Let's see here. The legend was born in 2016. He'll never escape that. He's gonna die with that. To be honest, he'll never outlive it. And long after he's gone, long after all of us is gone, all of us are gone, at least, that will be remembered. That will be ingrained into internet history, and it'll never go away. And there's been plenty of people who fucking jerked off and all kinds of publicity stunt shit, or whatever the case may be, on stream or on whatever. But that right there is going to get cemented. Like, that's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? That is part of internet lore that 100 years from now people will remember that shit. Probably further than that, but that will be remembered. Let's see here. As it pertains to Daymare being donated, shitty game. It only cost him $40. If he only gets 8 hours out of it, or 2 streams, he's gonna make $200 at the bare minimum. The game paid for itself a couple times over, plus he's gonna walk away with profit, but he's that greedy. He's that greedy that he had to get somebody else to do it. It is what it is. The DMCA takedowns, I already gave you my hot take on that. Because it's happened again, or it's happening, I should say, again, it makes me very, very suspect. But I'll take it at face value at the moment. But I have my suspicions. But once this whole situation's over, then we can go over it a little bit more. And we'll see what comes out of it. Phil uniting with the detractors, it does kind of benefit him a little bit that he's coming out and doing the right thing, but his track record speaks otherwise. And as Burnell pointed out, as other detractors have too, that Phil has spent the last couple years in a very lazy sort of way, trying to clean up his image, try to make people believe that he's not the bad guy, and that he just wants to come out here and play video games, and he's not accused of the malicious shit that he does, and if people would just give him a chance. But then you go ahead and get the compilations of him calling people assholes, calling people shitheads, going after other content creators, and it wipes all that shit away. And he's so stupid, and he's so undisciplined, that his first reaction is to react in a negative sort of way, and he can't turn it off. That's been ingrained into his being. You can't turn that off. And what you do find amongst content creators, whether on YouTube or who stream, no matter what the platform is usually the same people who preach, I just want positivity, I just want positivity, I just want positivity, are some of the most malicious people behind the scenes. Pokemon's a perfect example of that with that It's a Gundam shit. She promotes that whole body positive thing, that be proud of who you are and what you look like. Women need to uplift each other instead of tear each other down. And she photoshops herself lighter, as a lighter complexion. She shits on other female streamers. And the way she went at It's a Gundam is no different than how she's gone at any other, well, she attacked the sponsor. But at least her going to his YouTube channel, thumbing it down on stream, giving basically the dog whistle for other people to do it, which they did, and then going ahead and putting his Twitch out there on stream too, which is obviously her trying to signal to somebody at Twitch, hey, you might want to take a look at this and whatnot. You might want to have someone who's on call for this shit now, because I don't like this. That right there goes back to what's always been said about Pokemon, is that Destiny, her friend, or an acquaintance, whatever, they're friends really, had described it best. She's a ruthless businesswoman who will tear down anybody and everybody who stands in her way. Even if you hadn't done anything wrong, if she feels that you're even remotely of a threat, she'll cut you down. Now, he didn't say that part. He just said she's a ruthless businesswoman who will do whatever she has to. The reality is that she will cut down friend or foe alike if she has to. That's just what it is. That's what she's ingrained in. But that's what the real her. The thing that she shows you guys is this whole, oh, I want to go ahead and be cutesy. Yeah, I want to be Asian. I want to go ahead and act like I'm such a positive person. I love you guys so much. And why can't the world just be positive? And why do we need all this extra bullshit? No. No, she's not above this. She's deeply ingrained in it. She's deeply flawed. She's someone who's known to watching Pokimane hate videos. And there's a lot of Pokimane hate videos out there. More than I even thought. She's good for all that. She's good to watch all that. Because she really hates the fact that people don't like her. And she wouldn't, and if she could, she would change it. But she doesn't want to change her. She wants to change them. Does that sound familiar? It should. Because DSP is like that too. You can't escape what you are. At the end of the day. You can go up there and you can step to anything and try to act like you're the nicest person in the world. Everybody will eventually show who and what they are eventually. You hit somebody with enough pressure and eventually they'll pop. And the thing is Pokimane has enough true believers over there, right, that they'll overlook it. Because everybody has viewers and or fans or whatever the case may be that will overlook some of your flaws, right? But the thing is when you're distinctly contradicting yourself on saying, oh, we need to be more positive with each other, and we as women are already attacked on this platform, and we need to really stand up for each other. But then you're shitting on other women, right? You're shitting on Pokimane, or not Pokimane. You're shitting on Amaran. You're shitting on Alinity. You're shitting on Pink Sparkles. You're shitting on certain people like that. It don't look good. When you start distancing yourself from other women who you're known to be cool with because they're in a bad spot, and you're almost throwing sneak disses to them on Twitter, that tells you something. Just saying. So just something to keep in mind. And subs are being way down. Well, you already saw the contradiction in that. Right now, it's all short-term thinking. The sub goal, the tip goal is the main priority. Hype train is whatever, and the sub goal needs to be hit so we can get another retrospective stream, so we can target potential detractor content, and more importantly, so we can find something else to be exploited, just like the vest was. It only makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that ever since the last retrospective stream, when that vest was brought up out of nostalgia, he made 10 grand off of it. You don't think there's not something else in his past, something small, something stupid, something minute, that he couldn't use as a tip goal and try to profit off of as a combination with the vest? Think about it. Don't think too hard about it, but think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. See you guys for the next broadcast, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG, Network and Productions, for the Snort Report, and for SnortBucks Coffee. I've been your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. End the broadcast.